I'm Luke Albino, and this is my Lab 10 demo. The first thing that I'm going to do is, actually, let me get this out of the way down here. And then, so the integration that I chose for my project was my lab was the Lambda function in Node.js that is triggered by some event in S3 bucket. So the first step to setting this up right here was uh, creating a bucket. So let's go back up here. And this is going to be my bucket right here that I had for the lab. So my AWS bucket, Lukai Lab 10. And you can see I already have some objects in here, my HTML, JavaScript, and CSS files in there. Those are just for my front end. Um, but some other configurations that I had within this bucket are under the Properties tab. I have the event notification. Essentially what this does is it gets triggered whenever an event is up or a file is uploaded to my S3 bucket. This recognizes HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and TXT files. And the purpose for that is just because to avoid an infinite loop, you don't want you don't want infinite looping to incur charges or anything. So that's just a precaution against incurring charges for my account. And I have the destination set to my Lambda function as well right here. Then permissions, I have a bucket policy right here. And this pretty much just allows only users with the appropriate permissions to access this bucket. So, it's important for security. And then another security aspect that I have is for my Lambda function, I also have Amazon S3 full access, and that's just another security measure. It just well, it allows me as the user to have access to that bucket through that Lambda function as well. So without that, I wouldn't be able to kind of see inside of the bucket per se. So that's a very important step too there. So next here we got our Lambda function. So this is our Lambda function. Basically what it does is it just interacts with S3 to fetch file names. So down here, and down here, we have some error handling. So just if anything goes wrong, it throws an error, which is kind of nice for troubleshooting and whatnot. But yep, so that's what I have for my Lambda function there. And for my API gateway, I just have the Lab 10 API. It's a REST API. And I have two methods. I have a get and post method for my API there. Just important, this enables HTTP requests, basically, which allows the front end and back end to interact with each other. So very key component to this lab. Without this, there wouldn't be that handshake between our back end and front end, which is necessary for the purposes of this lab. All right. So with that being said, actually, let me show you my code as well for my front end. So this is my index file. Pretty simple CSS file. It's pretty simple styling as well. I just wanted to have it clean and minimal just to really focus on the functionality. And then my JavaScript file right here for my front end. Pretty much pretty simple too. Just got my endpoint URL right here. Fetches the file names from the bucket, then it loops through and lists them, throughout the loop. It also has some error handling for if there's no files in the bucket or if there's been errors retrieving the file name. So with all that being said, and those are my bucket, here's my bucket URL, and you can see it's finding files in my bucket. And there they are. You can see them populating on the screen for a second there. So my URL seems to be having an issue with the front end. Obviously, as you can see, if you refresh the page, it populates for a second, then it refreshes and it goes away. But I'm happy that there's still that handshake between the back end and front end that allows the file names to be displayed right here. It shows that my S3 bucket and Lambda function are properly integrated with the help of my REST API. So really the key functionality and the key goals of this lab are still being hit. So um, I'm still pretty content with that, getting that output. And also right here, this is me running it locally through VS Code right here. And as you can see, you can update it and these actually will stay on the screen too locally. And then real quick, I'm just going to do a demo of adding a file to the bucket just to show you that functionality as well. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to go into my bucket here. And upload a file, add files. And we're going to do the lab10 test.txt and upload. So it looks like that uploaded successfully there. Just to make sure it's in here. And so we got it right here. So first on my local live server here, I'm gonna update. You can see it populates right there. Or, sorry, right there. And also right here, I will display, and you can see it also populates right there as the second drop down. So yeah, that's basically the functionality of my Lab 10, my Lambda function in Node.js that is triggered by some event in S3 bucket. I was able to successfully integrate all the aspects of my of the lab. So my S3 bucket was able to be integrated with the Lab 10 Lambda function, and the API gateway was also able to allow these two to interact with each other, both with that front end and back end code. So yeah, I think that's basically all I have for this Lab 10 demo. I hope that it was informative about the project, and yep, thank you.